Hey guys, did you know that if you Google your symptoms, you actually can find out what's wrong with you and you don't have to go to a GP? Like, I'm totally kidding.
Powered by WinLads.
But welcome to Under the Coconut Tree with Tanila, and today we have a doctor, and he's a GP that runs his own clinic. La, welcome to the show.
I just got a piece of paper that says I'm a doctor.
Is it a legit piece of paper though?
I hope so.
I hope so. Well, otherwise your patients might have a few issues with that. So, obviously you're a doctor, but we'll open that can of worms later, and I use those words very carefully, which we'll cross paths with later. But tell me about how you got there to begin with. Like, why medicine?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. That's like the number one question that they ask when you go for an interview to become a doctor.
Let's change the question then. Why didn't you become an engineer?
It's too boring.
It's too boring? Okay. All right, so tell me. So you were like 5, 6 years old, and you're like, you know what? I want to go be a doctor. Is that when it all came about?
Actually, I wanted to be a veterinarian first. Because my mum is a veterinarian, animal doctor.
Right.
And I saw her...
Okay, I know what a veterinarian is, all right? I'm not an idiot, all right? I'm a podcast host, not an idiot. Okay, let's set the
Just
bar
want to
there.
clarify.
These doctors just think they just know bloody everything and smarter than everybody else. Have you seen your writing, bro? It's bloody terrible. Anyway, sorry, go on. You want to be a vet?
So my mum was a vet, and I saw what she did. Thought, wow, that's really amazing how she can fix animals, and the owners are happy. I actually remember the exact moment when I decided I want to be a doctor.
Right.
I was talking to my mum probably when I was about 10.
10, okay.
And my mum was like, so what do you want to do when you grow up? I was like, I want to be like you. I wanted to be a vet. She's like, why? I said, I want to help animals. And then she said, well, why don't you help humans? Like, you could actually help other people. I said, nah, I might kill somebody.
But Auntie had a very valid point to make you think outside the box. I mean,
yes.
You were so driven on being a vet, and then all of a sudden changed the trajectory of your life.
So, and she said I could help way more people than I could harm. So I said, yes. From that moment on, that was it. I'm a very goal-driven person, so that's what I went for since I was about 10.
So, were there any challenges along the way where you were like, you know what, far out, this is way too hard, or this is difficult, or this is actually not what I thought it was going to be?
Well, to be honest, I didn't get in first go because I wanted to get in Melbourne. Very competitive environment. Right. I went to a school that's, let's say, is not highly rated.
And that school is... No, I'm totally kidding. We're not going to do that. Okay, so you found it difficult because of, I guess...
No competition. Honestly, no competition, man. Yeah. So I was like the one of 2 migrants in the school.
So just two brown kids? Was there any Asians?
Two brown kids.
What were the rest
maybe a couple of Asian kids.
Couple of Asians. And the rest were all...
Yes, white. Yeah,
I just wanted you to say it.
Say it like it is.
Yeah.
So lack of competition. So, they were mainly trying to finish school,
right,
where I was trying to get into a course.
And study for another 10 years after school.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are like, why do you want to be a doctor?
Yeah.
The competition wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I didn't make it there, but I did really well in the UMAT. There was this test where you can get interviews.
Yep.
Did well in that. And my parents had a backup plan for me, which is to go to New Zealand and do like a year of study and apply again.
Can anyone do that? That's an Australian citizen?
Australian citizens can do that, yes. Anyone because Australian citizen mean you're a New Zealand resident, permanent resident.
Well, you have to study for another year after high school. And what are you doing in that year to get into med, essentially? What did you have to do?
You have to do 6 subjects,
yeah,
and you have to be like in the top 10% out of like a couple of thousand when you do that.
So it's competitive there still?
It's still competitive there, yeah, absolutely. But it's a student town. It's not an easy thing to do. I've had a lot of people who wanted to do med follow not my example, but other people's examples. And
like your pathway? Yeah,
pathway. People who couldn't make it here. Lots of people didn't make it because you're not with your parents. Like you go in a hall of residence. First year of uni, you're 18. There's no one to guide you.
Sounds kind of fun though.
Oh, the best, man.
Yeah.
Best years of my life.
No rice and curry, I assume, but everything else was there?
Yeah, when they served rice and curry, it was gone within like a couple of minutes because all the brown kids ate it all.
Yeah, and I'm assuming a lot of brown kids were trying to get into med.
Yeah.
Which is probably the majority of the people.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Exactly.
So 18, went to uni, is it still uni though when you did
uni,
first?
yeah,
So you went to uni, did 1 year of studying, 6 subjects, have to smash a top 10%, then you got into med.
Yep.
All right, cool. Tell me about the journey of someone that's... I mean, you're we were chatting before. You're very successful as a GP now. What was it like to be at uni and all the dumb... Tell me all the dumb shit that med students and people that are considered to be proper actually do in uni? Tell me more about that.
Well, the thing with medicines is because we study so much, and it's like every week there's like a test exam. When we cut loose, we really do cut loose.
You got any stories for me, man? Spill the tea.
Well, I flattered. So we flat with other people. We flattered with another five mates.
Yep.
They're also med students. One guy got so drunk one day that he literally got trolleyed. In that he couldn't walk home. We put him in a trolley, and we pushed him home.
What, back to the apartment?
Yes.
Well, he was that plastered.
That plastered. He got kicked out of the club, and he wanted to keep going back.
Oh, the club is in the nightclub you're at?
Yes.
Right, okay, cool.
He got kicked out, and he wanted to keep going back to the bouncer.
I mean, he was pretty safe, I guess, in the hands of 4 other med students, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, well, you'd hope so, but they were also quite inebriated.
Yeah. So you were all just shit-faced?
Yes. Apart from me. I don't drink.
You don't drink? Oh, man.
Don't
I'm
like
the
the
wrong
taste.
person for the show. It's just terrible. All right. So your hands are clean. You're like, I didn't do any of this.
Well, I don't need the alcohol to be crazy, so...
All right, well, tell me some of your stories that you got up to when you were, in your teenage years or early 20s at uni. Your sober stories that were deemed not doctor-like, I guess. You got to share one.
Are we doing high school or are we doing uni?
You know what? Give me one of each.
All right. High school, I had a bet with my mate
Oh, that's gonna be good.
that the All Blacks are going to win the Bledisloe Cup
Yep.
against Australia. I grew up in New Zealand.
Mm.
We had a bet. Anyway, All Blacks lost. I said double or nothing. It was like $10.
Okay.
But, as a brown kid...
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and your parents are not going to give you $10 just like that.
Yep.
So we lost, and I was like, oh man, where am I going to get $10?
Wasn't it 20 because it was double or nothing?
No, it was $5 to begin with for
Yeah.
the first match, double and I think $10 for the second match.
Oh, okay, cool.
And we lost that one too.
So you were $10.
So I was $10 down.
Yeah.
I barely had $2.
Yeah.
So
You're a med student. You got hex. You're still paying off your hex.
we're going home, and I'm like, Matt, if I lift that potting mix and the store person doesn't know, we call it even.
What do you mean lift? Can you paint me a word picture?
Basically steal it. Basically steal it.
See, I knew that. I just wanted you to say. Okay, cool.
It was 20 kilograms of potting mix.
Which is quite heavy because in that weird bag, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I was like 16,
Yeah.
a skinny Sri Lankan kid.
And Matt's a white kid.
And he's like, yeah, Matt's a big white kid. He's like, there's no way you can shoplift that, man. Yeah, but if I do it, I'll be even. And he says, yes. I'm like, all right. So I get the potting mix. I try to put it under my shirt. It's 20 kgs.
It's 20 kilos, man.
Can't put it under my shirt. Anyway, I do this big loop around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and I meet them a little bit further away, and he's like, I got it. You call it even? And he's like, yep, we call it even, but you got to take it home. At that exact same moment, the trolley guy sees me with the 20 kgs of potting mix, and he's like,
He's chasing you.
he's like, drop it, thief, drop it. So I drop it and I run, and I run, do a loop around, come back, see my friends, and they're like, man, that dude, he got into a van and he's looking for you.
Oh shit!
Looking
And so
for
how
you.
old are you at this point? You're high school.
16.
16. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then at that exact same, I can remember this so vividly. At that exact same moment, the van pulls up, and the dude drops out.
And he recognized you.
And I had this jacket on. It was raining that day. I had a jacket on. You could clearly see it was like a red jacket.
Yeah.
And
This is a common theme in
he's
red.
like, you little shit.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
little shit. I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah.
And then my mate's like, run.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I'm fast. Anyway,
Okay.
I start running. I'm running basically home,
How far is home from?
about a kilometer away.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sprinting.
That's fun,
And I
man.
look back at this dude. He's old. Like he's like
Yeah.
he's a man.
But he's in a van.
No, he's jumped out of the van now, trying
right.
to chase me on
So
foot.
you reckon you could take him?
But I had no choice. Other than that,
It was that or prison.
so I start running, and this dude's actually keeping up with me. So I'm
Okay.
looking back. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's actually fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I cross the road, don't even look at cars, and I keep running. And then about 400 meters in, I look back. He's starting to tire. I'm like, I got this guy. I run all the way home.
You had youth on your side, man.
I run all the way home, man. And then I go into my house.
Yeah.
I lock the door, and I tell my brother, "Oh yeah, don't open the door. Whoever knocks on the door, don't open the door."
Did you tell Aya what actually happened?
No, I just said, "Don't open the door."
Okay. Yeah.
And I got under my covers.
You went to sleep. No one will know
Pretended
while I'm
to
here.
sleep. Tell anyone that comes out
I'm
to sleep.
asleep. There's no one home. That's a good story, man.
Yeah, man.
You seem like the kind of guy. If I had to imagine what doctors do in their spare time, is definitely go to Bunnings and steal some potting mix.
Shoplifting.
Shoplifting. All right. So that was in high school.
Yeah.
All right. Did you learn your lesson, or was it worse in uni?
I definitely didn't do shoplifting in uni.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy stuff, man, is I mean, just stupid guy stuff that sometimes we do, right?
Hey, man, speak for yourself. I'm a very prim and proper guy.
Like we play cricket.
Yeah.
Ball ends up on a 2-story roof. Guess who they asked to go climb and get it?
Dr. Silva.
You know me.
Yeah, yeah.
There was one time I went up on the roof. It's pretty high up,
Yeah.
and there's flats all around. And there's a girl changing right in front of me.
Was she hot?
She was fully naked.
That wasn't my question.
Was she hot? Didn't have time to recover because she turned around and looked at me, and
Because
I looked
all
at
the
her.
blood left your head, or
I was like, "What?" Initially, I was like, "What is she doing?"
okay. So the doctor to be is like, what is this female anatomy? Ah, yes, I'm very familiar with this in the cartoon.
Yeah. Next moment, she's looking at me, and I'm like, dive down.
When
so
you
she can't see me.
jumped off the roof,
No, I dove, so I'm flat on the roof.
oh, so she couldn't see.
Yeah, like
Because
like
of that
levels. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool story. All right.
stupid stuff, man.
I guess we all do that dumb shit every now and then, right? It is what it is. All right, cool. But you spoke about running before, and that's something that I want to touch on because before you were telling me that you're a bit of a sprinter in your
Yeah.
junior days, and you'll tell me a little bit about that. And are you still doing it, and what's going on with that? And how quick were you? I guess is the question we want to know.
Yeah, I guess I can't call myself a sprinter, man, because I didn't do enough competitive sprinting.
Okay.
But I was naturally really fast.
Yeah.
In high school, when I was 17, I ran the 100 in 11.23.
You said 11.23.
11.23 as
That's quick.
a 17-year-old. I guess the other, the sprinting really helped because I love my sports.
Yep.
So I played cricket, I played rugby.
Union or league?
Union.
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 That's the boring one, yeah?
Nah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's a hard one. All the Aussies are like hating you right now. The NRL fans are hating you right now.
Yeah, man. So I mean, most
Yeah.
people look at like people like you and me. So a little skinny kid, how can he play rugby, right? And this is in New Zealand. You play against like big
Maoris and
Islander
Islanders,
guys. But blessed with some reasonable speed.
Yeah.
Played for sort of like the sub district in Otago.
That's like a higher level, right?
That's a pretty reasonable
What
level.
position do you play?
Winger.
I asked that question like I
Like
know,
you know.
like I know,
But
but
you
like
have no
I
idea.
have no bloody idea. So give us a rundown of like how the position is. The winger the one that I'm assuming runs fast?
Yes. So
Okay.
there's two wingers on either side.
Yep.
The really massive guys you see are the ones who are called forwards.
So I would be a forward,
in
yeah, because I'm really.
You'd be
massive.
halfback. You'd be a halfback, bro.
Man, I'll be one of the forwards' pinkies. Is what I would be.
Wingers are the fast guys who
Yeah,
sit on
right.
the wing and try to score
You
tries.
said halfback. Billy Slater. I know it's like league, but doesn't he play halfback or something? Or was it
Billy
fullback?
Slater is a halfback, but the
see.
halfback in rugby league is different to halfback in Union.
Right.
Halfback in Union is a little guy,
George Gregan.
George Gregan,
Oh,
who
right.
clears the ruck, like gets the ball and passes to everybody.
So did you just give me the easy role because I'm small? Did you just purely? Did you just judge me?
Yeah.
Do you do that in your medical profession too?
All the time.
Oh, okay. Man, I gotta
We train to do that.
Yeah,
we
right.
train to judge people as they walk through the door. I'm already analyzing you. I mean, I'm not analyzing you like you're. I'm analyzing your anatomy, how you're
okay, cool.
walking.
My
What are
gait.
your eyes like? You know.
Yeah,
Do you look out of breath? We
Yeah,
train to do that.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That kind of leads me to another question. Now, I've heard a couple of stories, and I'm hoping that you can throw out a really good one. I might trigger you a little bit to remind you, but about a funny story that happened while you were working ED, or your friend was working ED, with a man with a long coat.
Maybe the long coat.
Long coat, and there was a little animal involved.
Oh.
You have to share that story. I know we're talking about it before, but you have to share it for everyone listening. So this is let me paint the picture. So you're working in ED, right?
Yeah.
That's the story, and it's a late night, and someone walks in. Please, doctor, tell us a story.
The animal wasn't present, but the animal wasn't present, but he walked into ED. Luckily, it wasn't my patient, but one of the other doctors took him.
And you were what, like a junior doctor, right?
Yeah, I was a junior doctor. I was
Yeah.
maybe 3 years out.
Yeah.
This, I'm allowed to say the hospital. Yeah, why not? Box Hill Hospital.
Yeah. Well, you said it out.
Box Hill Hospital ED.
Yeah.
And someone comes and goes, "Oh my God, look at this X-ray. Have a look at the X-ray. What's happened is there is a bottle in this person's rectum."
Yep.
And we were all like, "How is the bottle in this guy's rectum?" First of all, how did he get it there?
Just to confirm, a rectum is up the anus, right?
That is correct.
I don't know if I can say that, but I said it.
That is correct.
Okay, continue.
It turns out that they were doing something experimental.
Who's they?
Him and his partner.
What kind of experiments?
I guess sexual experiments.
I just wanted you to say it.
And yeah, they used a bottle, and the bottle got stuck there, and he couldn't get it out.
So many questions. Why didn't it crack? What material was it made out of? Did they use lube? Like, I have so many questions.
The main question that he had was like, "Can you get it out?"
Did he
That's
go?
the main thing he wanted.
Did he go thin way in first and then the thick end, or thick end in first and then the thin end?
Thin end in first.
That makes sense. Was there lube?
I have no idea. I assume.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty hard. Yeah. It's pretty tight up there.
Yeah, that's where it was, man. And
Did they manage to?
yep, he had to have a minor procedure.
I mean, explain
get it
to us,
out.
like, how do you get like a light bulb or a or a bottle or a gecko? I don't know what people put up there, but how do you get one of these things out?
A lot of lubrication, and some drugs to relax the muscles.
Which muscles exactly?
The rectum, the muscles in the rectum.
You should be nervous about this. You're a doctor. You talk about this all the time.
Muscles in the rectum.
You guys can't tell, but he's tearing up right now. All right, so they managed to loosen his sphincter.
Yep,
Is that the right term?
that's correct.
Thank you.
Well,
Okay.
not said like sphincter, but it's sphincter.
Okay, I just felt like I add a bit of zest
It's
to
like
it. You know?
a German.
It's a bit too zesty. And then they managed to get the bottle out in one piece.
Yes, in one piece. Yeah, that's the most important part.
Because if you break
Obviously, if you break it, you're in
Yeah.
trouble. But they got it out. But that was a highlight, I would say.
Yeah, not for the guy though.
Not for the. Well, he got it out, and then he was very happy.
So all I'm hearing is, if I ever get asked to go on a date and it's in Box Hill, take lubricant or just don't go. What would you suggest?
Stay away from bottles.
Stay away from bottles.
Mm.
Interesting. All right, I love it. All right, cool, man. And what about? I guess let's bring it back to what you do now. So you actually run a clinic yourself, right? So you're a GP. Tell me what the procedure is like to not procedure, sorry, but the process is to become a GP. And why GP out of so many different options of the different types of doctors you can be?
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the awesome things about going into medicine is you have lots of choices.
Yeah.
Like, you could not see people at all. You could go into a lab and just, discover things.
Yep.
Or for myself, I felt like to be a doctor, I really want to work with people.
Yep.
I just thought the only doctors I knew are the family doctors, and I felt like that was a doctor, was a family doctor. I never thought about anything else. And then when you're going through medical school, you're exposed to all the different fields, and nothing really jumped out at me.
Okay.
I was good at a couple of things. Like I was good at surgery, but I just didn't have enough patient contact. So,
Sorry, what does patient contact mean? Like
patient contact means like talking to
hands-on?
patients.
Oh, sorry, gotcha.
Talking to patients. There's not just doing procedures, just talking to the patient. And the awesome thing about being a GP is you follow someone over their lifetime. Like you can see their kids, their grandkids, like a whole family network. You see them, and you understand the person. The buzzword at the moment is holistic, but
Holistic,
we actually see the whole family. Like
Yeah,
real holism is like the whole unit.
Yeah,
we
right.
get to
It's
see.
not just a buzzword that you're using. You actually have it actually means something in your profession, I guess.
Absolutely makes something, and that's what a good GP does. Like
Yeah.
they understand the whole context of the person,
Yep.
not just the disease that they're coming with. Yeah, man. So general practice really jumped out at me, and nothing else superseded it. And then when I did a rotation, doing GP, because you get to go at all the rotations, so you get a
try
feel for
everything.
what you want.
Gotcha.
And really liked being a GP, and started it. You always had that thought in the back of your mind, though, as a doctor. I mean, people who are doctors would relate to this. They're like, am I picking the right thing?
Yeah.
Because you almost sort of locked into it.
You're pigeonholing yourself, right?
Almost. And
Yeah.
you hope you do the right choice, because sometimes you get into a training. Because in medicine, unlike some other places, like you do your medical training,
Yep.
you got to work in a hospital, then you got to do another exam to get into an actual training program. So, for example, as a general GP.
Yep.
And then you work as a registrar, like a trainee GP.
Mhm.
Then you got to set another set of exams to become a GP. And this also, obviously, costs money.
Yeah. And
lot
I'm
of
assuming it's
time.
not cheap.
No, it's not cheap, man.
Yeah.
And the pass rate isn't easy.
What is the pass rate, like roughly? Do you have any idea?
I believe the pass rate is about 48% at the moment
Wow.
for GPs.
That's lower than I thought, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not just like people who do the training program. It's like people who come from overseas, who are trying to enter general practice.
Right, so they're already qualified in their country of origin, but then they're trying to.
But when they come here,
qualify here.
yeah, you gotta redo exams and stuff when you come here, unless you're from New Zealand.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a long pathway. So you want to make sure it's the right thing. So we have lots of people who are GPs now who did surgery first and they realized that's not for them, and they came back and did.
It's
GP.
almost like 2-3 years wasted then, essentially, right?
Oh, not 3, man. We're talking like 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like surgical training is up to 10 years. So
It shows how much I know, eh? Wow. Yeah. I thought studying for 6-7 years after high school was a lot, but you're older than me and you're still studying, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean the thing about medicine is it's always changing.
yeah.
You know, you can't just do the same thing that you're doing, because new evidence comes out saying that this medication is better, or there's this aspect of the disease that we don't know. So it's constantly evolving.
Yeah,
So
right.
so you have to evolve as well. You can't just do the same things you did 10 years ago, because it's wrong.
Do they just update the memes online now? Is that what happens? Yeah. I know.
You know the memes.
I know things, bro. I know things. I know a few things. I got a few doctor friends. All right, cool, man. So I guess one thing that I've always told, especially my family as well, and this is kind of like an important topic, is I don't ever want to see a GP if they've been doing it for a while or they're a little bit older. Now, this isn't an ageist thing, but I feel like the older GPs, from my experience and those of my friends, tend to kind of be stuck in their ways and not willing to evolve and kind of adapt and learn, like you're saying, because there's so many new stuff coming out, and you have to be up to date, and health is the number one thing in the world, in my opinion anyway, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, doctors like you, I mean, I know you own your clinic now, which is awesome, are a bit younger as well, so you're constantly learning and evolving, like you're saying. But is there something that can be done for these other GPs that are kind of circling the drain? Because I know they're out there, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most can't be bothered after like 50, 60, I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like no one should be speaking to those GPs and try to go to someone younger, not necessarily someone right out of uni, but a little bit younger that's up to date with technology and willing to learn and adapt as well.
Yeah, good point, man. Look, there's pros and cons, man.
Okay.
Like the pro of going to someone who's really experienced is, you know, obviously they got experience on their side, so they do have like a wealth of knowledge. The downside is that, yeah, sometimes you're right, like they can be stuck in their ways. They can be a bit not lazy, but not as driven, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, like
Feel comfortable.
In our clinic, so we have GP registrars who come through, and we help train them.
Yep. And they're like the junior GPs training.
Yeah, junior doctors. So when patients see junior doctors, they always tell me like they're so thorough, because they're so one, they're worried about doing the wrong thing, so it makes them even more
attention to detail.
Yeah. Obviously you got to balance it out, because if you go to like a scared doctor, then as a patient you're like, does this guy know what he's doing?
Yeah, true.
You know, you get that too. So you don't get that same level of thoroughness from a I mean, I'm generalizing a bit, but from a older GP.
Yeah.
So I guess that the hard part is to keep that thoroughness and keep that energy.
And also know what and look professional enough as well.
Professional enough, and also, you know, have the insight to know that, okay, maybe I actually need to do a little bit more research, or maybe I need to do something to, you know, invigorate myself as a doctor.
Yeah.
And, you know, with any job, like if you're just turning up and just going home, like why work there?
Yeah.
You know, just stay home.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah, I think we have this thing called CPD, professional development.
Yeah, we have it too.
Yeah. So I mean, there are certain standards that you got to reach, but there's ways around it, man. You know.
But also, man, like in our industry at least, CPD is so easy.
Yeah, right.
Like I do my CPD without even paying attention to it.
Right.
And I don't know if it's the same in your profession.
Yes.
But it is. There are ways around it. Yeah.
Definitely, there are ways around it. I think a really good way is if you're in a group practice.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that people in a solo GP practice, so a single doctor working by themselves, you know, obviously they're not going to get exposed to other ideas.
Yeah.
You know, it's just them.
Yeah.
So if you work in a group environment, you're constantly challenging yourself.
Yeah, right. You're
challenging-
learning a lot better as well.
You're learning
the
a lot better.
conversations You're having, yeah.
And the other thing is having like younger doctors coming through, like registrars, and you're involved in teaching, because they ask you questions
that you
and
might not. Yeah.
you may not know, and they update you. They're like, actually,
This is the new research or
this is the new
evidence-based
research.
tool. Yeah.
This is what it is, and so
Right.
it forces you to go and learn. So that's one of the reasons why we're a teaching clinic as well. So I think
That's awesome.
affiliating being with teaching. So as a patient, if you're going to say a hospital,
Yeah.
if it's a teaching hospital, you know you're going to get a really high level of care.
Yeah. Okay.
high standard because they're leaders in their field.
Yeah, I'm assuming Box Hill was definitely a teaching hospital because they teach you how to get bottles out of your ass.
That's for sure.
That's going to be the hook for the...
Is that what you're looking for?
That's what I'm looking for, apparently. Hey, you said your clinic is a teaching clinic.
Yeah.
Tell me the number of staff you got there, and because I know you're one of a few partners, so give me the
Yes.
rough structure of how it works.
So there's 3 partners.
Yep,
So,
including you?
Yeah, including me. There's 3 partners who own the clinic. Overall, we have 12 doctors.
Yep.
And every 6 months, we get a new registrar, a new younger doctor who
Do
comes
you
through.
get rid of one as well? It's like one in, one out?
Yeah. They rotate
They
through.
rotate.
Yeah, they 6-month rotations. They go through different clinics. Staff, we have 35.
Wow, that's a big clinic.
Yeah, actually, when I became a partner, I thought our clinic was a small clinic,
Yeah.
but 35 is a medium-sized business.
Yeah, right.
If you look at the numbers, it'd be actually a medium-sized
Medium-sized,
business, not
right.
necessarily a small business. 35 staff is a lot, man.
Yeah.
Because you need a lot of reception staff at a medical clinic.
They're just as important, right? I mean,
Maybe AI will change that a bit.
yeah,
I don't know.
who knows, right?
Is it changing
Will
landscape?
AI change doctors itself? Maybe Google and symptom searching might be more accurate in the future? Who knows?
It's actually already pretty accurate, man. It's about knowing how to filter through, because the data is there obviously on the internet.
Yeah.
As a patient, when you're searching, the issue is like a wealth of data comes and you
Too
don't know
much.
what the hell to look at.
Overloaded.
That's the
yeah.
problem. If you know how to like siphon through it, usually give you pretty accurate diagnosis. I've had lots of times when people come in and they're
They
like,
knew what they were.
I think I
Was
got
it
this.
lupus? It's a joke for the doctors out there.
I'll be pretty impressed if they said it's lupus.
Man, it's funny you say that because all I'm hearing is I don't have to go pay my GP anymore. I can Google my symptoms.
Yeah.
So not yet there
Hey,
yet.
who's going to give you the medication? Huh?
The pharmacists. Can we write prescriptions ourselves?
No, you can't.
I know a guy. He works in Springvale. Speaking of GP, speaking of doctors, I guess, what are the highest paid medical professions, in doctors specifically?
Plastic surgeons, definitely.
They're number one?
Number one would be
What
plastic
kind of
surgeons.
money are they making?
I mean,
And it's a bit of a how long's a piece of string kind of question, but
yeah, man, because like as a plastic surgeon, like say if you're doing work with like really famous people, celebrities, you're talking millions.
millions.
Like
But let's talk
tens
like,
of millions.
let's just talking
like
working with
no-
affluent people.
Like normal doctors, I mean, plastics, you're probably looking at definitely over $1 million. You're probably looking at 1.5, 2 mil.
Yeah, right.
But and most specialists will be in that vicinity.
Like
Towards
specialists, like give us a couple of examples.
general surgeons, let's say anaesthetists,
Yeah, they call something else in America. Right?
gastroenterologists, anesthesiologists.
See, I'm definitely not going to try to say either of those words because I can't say it.
I don't know why they make it so hard.
I don't know, but they're the same role,
Same role.
and they get paid a fair bit.
They do.
I mean, everyone knows what a surgeon is. Everyone knows what a plastics is, but say the word.
Huh? Anesthesiologist.
All right, if you can't say that, how do lay people
because
like?
as Americans maybe don't say
Okay,
that.
say how do Aussies say it?
Anesthetist.
Yeah, that one. So that's where they inject. Maybe give the explanation of what it is because
Where they inject-
where they inject drugs into your veins. I can't say that. So just what do they do?
They're
That's
the
what the
ones
people at home.
They look after you when you're going under. When you're
Right.
under general anesthetic, your
make
life
sure you're
is in
under.
their hands.
Yeah, okay. So they're
Yeah.
pretty important.
They're pretty skilled.
So if they get a few millimeters wrong,
Few
shit hits the
mils.
fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. They're the most calmest people you will meet.
Are they boring?
No, they're not. Anesthetists are actually like really exciting.
Oh, right, cool.
So ED, emergency doctors, anesthetists,
Yeah.
they're into like hiking, marathons, Ironman, this type of.
Cool.
Yeah. So you do get like boring people. Like dermatologists are boring.
That's skin, right?
Skin, they're boring.
Yeah, right.
They're boring.
Dermatologist. Don't be a dermatologist. You're boring. Unless you're boring and you prefer that.
Yeah, you do get certain personalities that,
Yeah.
I mean, as not as a whole, but like generally.
So essentially, plastic surgeons number one, number two, general surgeons, and number three.
Probably anesthetists.
I just didn't want to say the word. Yeah, cool, beautiful.
And anyone doing interventions.
Ooh, what's that?
Interventions are people who are doing procedures.
Okay.
So like a cardiologist who does, like angiograms. If you
Yeah,
have a
right.
blocked artery and they put a stent in.
Yeah.
People who, cardiologists who change valves, like
Yeah.
your heart valve. Anyone who's doing interventions, if you're talking about finances, they're the high risk, obviously
Yeah,
the
of
higher
course.
risk things.
More reward, I guess.
Yeah,
So you're saying dermatologists are the most boring? Are they trumped by GPs?
we're definitely not the most boring.
You're not the most boring.
No.
Well, tell us some about some of your hobbies that you do right now.
Hobbies. I like to be really active.
Yep.
So I love sport. I love watching sport.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I try to live by, the advice that I give my patients, because I want to be an example. So I had lots of people come in and go like, oh, I want to be slim like you, or what's your secret? I don't want to be someone who's not in shape and they sort of come to the GP and the GP's like, you need to do this and this for your lifestyle. And they look at you like, well, what are you doing for your lifestyle?
Well, it's not like you're going to go to a PT that's obese.
Exactly.
Right.
So, you got to sort of live by what you teach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that... yeah, I'm just like a normal person, man. I love watching Netflix, movies, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, I love all that sort of stuff. Hanging out with my family.
Yeah, cool.
Hanging out with my friends.
Yeah. Dermatologist friends?
I don't have any dermatologist friends.
You seem too fun for that, I guess. Now, look, man, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I do have one question to ask you before you go, though. If you could give general advice, and that's not like a finance question now. If you could give a couple points, I guess, for people that are coming into...
These are non-law binding.
It's not law binding, yes. This is not official, not binding. But if you can... Something you see all the time that you probably want people to know generally before they jump into an ED or jump into coming seeing their... ED or a GP clinic, what would you ask people to kind of look into or to save themselves a hassle or save times as well?
It's definitely prevention, man.
Okay.
Not enough people... A lot of people change their ways after something happens. They wait for their cholesterol to be high. They wait for a heart attack. They wait to break something, before they do something. Whereas, most of the things that we start to do around our 30s and 40s is what makes a difference down the track. Like, for example, dementia, the building blocks of dementia starts when you're about 40. So what you do around 40 is what dictates. I mean, there's obviously genetics that you can't change, but there's so many things you can change.
Do you mean like diet or physical activity or
All of those.
all the above?
Yeah.
So just eat well.
Yeah, just your simple stuff about, eating a Mediterranean diet has been shown by research to be the most...
Like fish?
Not just fish.
Okay.
Like a diet that's high in veggies.
I don't like fish.
Veggies, fish, a little bit of meat. Yeah, so like a balanced Mediterranean diet is considered to be, with a bit of olive oil, tends to be the best. And being active. We're just not active enough. That's probably the biggest thing, man. A lot of people try to change their diet, but active people find it very hard to remain active for whatever reason. Lifestyle. I always tell them, like, make it part of your identity. Make yourself the person that, your friends look at you and be like, oh, he's the guy that runs every Sunday. Make yourself that person, not like the guy who occasionally goes out for a bike ride. Make it part of yourself. So prevention, man, that's the number one key. It's all the boring stuff. And people are like, should I take this supplement? Should I take this medication? I said, before you take anything, try to do it the natural way, which is just do the good old-fashioned lifestyle, diet, be happy in your life. Find out what makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
Find that balance. That's actual holistic medicine.
So to summarize, have a well-balanced diet, a Mediterranean diet, including a bit of olive oil.
Yep.
Be physically active and make that part of your identity, so there's no real excuse or extra challenge to do these things. And third was
like be happy. Like
be happy.
Find out what makes you happy and what makes you not happy.
Yeah.
That's important. And then find that mental balance. I would say those are the most important things.
Yeah.
But have fun. Like, people are like, oh, I decided not to have sugar for three years. But guess what? After 3 years, you're gonna start eating sugar again. It's not realistic.
It's silly, isn't it? Yeah.
Have yourself a treat. It has to be something you can sustain for your life.
Not just 3 weeks or 3 years. Or
not 3 years.
Yeah.
Like exercise, and then it's okay for you to have a donut. It's all right. Go to Macca's. It's all good. But just don't do it every single bloody day.
I really hope they don't crop it out, so they just have that last bit saying, have a donut, have a Macca's. but that's really good advice. So balance is key, and treat yourself every now and then. But have a consistency in diet, training, and be happy. Like, thanks so much for coming on. Guys, look, like and subscribe for more, because not only do we have shoplifters that became GPs, we also have fantastic other entrepreneurs coming on the show. Follow along for Under the Coconut Tree with Tanila. Thanks so much, La.
Coconut tree.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers,
that was awesome.
Powered by WinLads.